auto combos. After stating that I believe auto combos is a terrible mechanic, I was actually surprised to see how many people say that I didn't understand what auto combos were for and that they're actually useful, you know, that they're designed for the 6-year-old niece or the grandmother who will just play the game one time and just wants to have fun smashing buttons, or for the player who will play the game for only 2 weeks after buying it or so and then just move on or something like that. They say I'm too ingrained into the competitive scene so that I don't understand why button mashing combos are fun. Well, to that, my main response really is, why is the bar set so low for fighting games? Think about this. No other genre of video game has this mindset and are largely chastised when people try to suggest similar concepts. I mean, people who say that auto combos should, you know, be there for people who want to smash buttons should not balk at the idea of an easy mode for Elden Ring, right? My grandma just wants to smash buttons in Elden Ring. She doesn't intend to play it for more than a week. So let her kill and auto-dodge everything just by mashing buttons. In CSGO, why don't we actually add a form of aim assist to make it so that if there's an enemy on the screen, every time I fire my weapon, like their head moves closer to the center of my screen, the aiming reticule automatically moves toward them so that after I mash a few shots, I will get a headshot. I mean, look, why not do that? My niece only wants to play it today. Let her feel cool about it. No other genre of video game on the planet has mechanics designed specifically for those who will quit the game. Not even other competitive genres like MOBAs and FPSs and such. It's almost as if the FGC has grown so accustomed to people quitting their game, to quitting their genre, that we are now trying to cater to the demographic we know won't stick with our game. That's a very sad state. So here's the question I want to ask. Rather than trying to focus on those who are going to quit the game, why not do what every other video game ever does? Instead of making mechanics for players who are going to quit our game, why not try to hook them so that they won't quit? I mean, this is what video game developers do. There is so much research done and psychology studied to make games addicting to players. Games like League of Legends are free and yet somehow have a giant player base and get people to keep spending money on it despite the game having a fairly obtuse strategy and over 140 characters to learn and understand and build systems, etc., etc. And there are no real beginner-friendly mechanics in the game. When I played, there was nothing that was like coddling me for mashing or anything like that. And yet, even before the pandemic, League had a player base of about 100 million players. In 2022, it has 180 million players, according to LeagueFeed.net. This is because the game knows how to hook you. And this is the inherent problem with auto combos. They don't get people addicted to stay. Some people said they use them so they don't have to focus on combos and can concentrate on neutral. While this is a neat concept and a cool idea, these players are already dedicated enough to know what neutral is. Auto combos weren't what caused them to play. It's not what addicted them to play the game. And they hold people back, honestly, because they aren't teaching any useful skill that can be applied later. If we want to apply auto combos, we need to start implementing them in ways that will help players subtly understand concepts that will help them grow. I mean, is this possible? Can we make them work better? Of course we can. I mean, some games have already tried and done a decent job. King of Fighters 15 has a decent go at it, where at least different buttons cause different enders. There is some impetus for players to learn to use the different buttons, but they could have gone a step further, For example, they could have just made mashing A, the light punch button, it should not have ended in the climax. It should have just ended out with another normal and just kind of fizzled out, basically. But they should have left the B, C, and D enders still lead to special moves, level 1 supers and level 2 supers respectively, as they do now. This teaches players to use more than one button if they want to do something cool. However, they should still allow you to do the climax by mashing A, but then ending it with quarter circle forward plus A. And so now you can cancel the fizzled out normal into the climax, but to do that, you're forcing them to learn motions. It's just one motion and using the same button, but it impels them to learn it. In fact, there's a game out there that has done a really good job with auto combos, as we want to call them, and that's Killer Instinct. This game implemented the combo assist mode in a later patch. It wasn't there right away. But what's cool about them is that, Killer Instinct's combos are kind of confusing at first. They're very rhythm-based, where, the linkers and the auto doubles have very different rhythms and very different speeds and timings, so that when you're trying to learn the combos, learning to cancel one into the other is kind of tricky, especially because you're using the different speeds constantly. It's one of the hardest parts to learn of Killer Instinct's combo system, alongside the concept that you need to alternate between specials and auto doubles. The combo assist mode can help players learn that rhythm without needing to get good at motions or understanding that alternating specials and auto doubles concept. Mashing works so that you don't have to learn the rhythm. But what's cool about Killer Instinct is that the combo breaker system exists. By mashing one button, and keep in mind, combo breakers work by breaking the strength of the button that the opponent is using. So if you keep using one button, even other beginners are going to learn how to break that 100% of the time. If you're mashing just on light, your opponent's gonna break light every single time, and you're never gonna be able to combo them. So this kind of forces players to learn to use different buttons for their linkers and their auto doubles. And what's important about this is that now they're forced to learn the rhythm, that timing concept, because they have to know when to start switching the buttons for selecting the auto double or the linker, for example. So the cycle is automatically teaching players higher level concepts by itself. It just leads to people learning better. And most importantly, the combo assist mode only gives you access to 2 finishers. And most characters have 3 or more finishers, and some of them very important. And so in order to learn how to access those, you still have to learn how to do the motion and the button to get those finishers. Again, all of this encourages players to learn to become stronger at the game. And on top of all this, you can turn combo assist mode off if you don't want it. What a concept! Look, again, this is all talking specifically about auto combos, and it wasn't my intention to dedicate an entire episode to auto combos. I wanted to talk about the core thing that people are telling me auto combos are providing: the ability for a new player to feel cool. And that is exactly where I was going in the last video with the idea of beginner-friendly gameplay instead of beginner-friendly mechanics. I understand what auto combos provide. If anyone in the FGC has a vested interest in making games more enjoyable to play for beginners, it's me. I think about this almost every day, so believe me when I say I get why people are telling me that auto combos are useful. But my point is, regarding auto combos, we can do better. The thing that auto combos provide is the ability for players to feel cool, but you can do that in so many ways. Ways that will keep people playing the game, to hook them, to provide players with small victories, to make them feel like they are accomplishing something even when they're not winning. Now, I'm gonna say something controversial, and I know I'm gonna lose people because of this. And this will probably be its own video in the future, but this is what I'm gonna say here, okay? The most genius and intelligently and beautiful designed fighting game series of all time to properly use the concept of beginner-friendly gameplay is Smash Brothers. And seriously, if you're still on that Smash isn't a fighting game train, get the fuck over yourself and stop being an idiot, okay? It might be a different style of fighting games, aka platform fighters, but it's a fighting game at heart. I'll dedicate a whole episode or two to the brilliance of how Smash Brothers succeeds so well in the idea of beginner-friendly gameplay as opposed to mechanics. But just so I don't leave you with nothing, I'm going to go ahead and give you my number one most brilliant beginner-friendly gameplay that Smash Brothers included in its game. The most amazing and genius thing that they did. And it's not going to be what you're going to expect me to say. It is the fact that the audience gasps when you grab the ledge. That's it. That single feature tells players everything. That when knocked off the stage, they need to get back. And if they do make it back, they did something right and they did something amazing. All because of the audience gasp. They will all of a sudden start to learn creative and clever ways to get back to the stage on their own because of that audience gasp. And they feel special. And they will keep feeling special even after the gasp becomes inaudible due to desensitization. Especially because somebody else is typically trying to kill them while they're trying to make it back to the ledge. But if they make it back, despite the opponent's attempts, they feel great. Even if they don't win the match overall, it's still a mini win where they defeated their opponent. They foiled the opponent's plan. It's a sub-goal that they succeeded in accomplishing. And all of that is understood almost immediately the very first time you grab the ledge and the audience gasps. Beginner-friendly gameplay. Let players feel good for mini successes. Anyways, that's just one piece of the puzzle for Smash Brothers. There's so much more that Smash Brothers does right that it may take several videos for me to explain it all. But literally the game is genius from a design standpoint. There's a reason why it has such a massive fan base and hooks players almost instantaneously, because it is chock full of beginner-friendly gameplay. Fighting game devs really need to look closely at what Smash Brothers does more carefully and really understand how it creates that appeal. As I said, future videos, I will go all into it. But I want to talk about what games are doing right nowadays, which games are doing it completely wrong, and you'll be surprised at which one I'm going to tell you is doing it completely wrong, and other outside-the-box ideas that I think can help create fighting games that, you know, we're just not going to assume everybody's going to quit, but that actively keeps players interested and coming back. We want to hook players in. We want to keep them playing our game. And that, in the end, is our goal. So thank you again for tuning in for another episode of Chen Reaction. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/jchenzor, as well as twitter.com/jchenzor. To check out myself streaming. I'm going to be trying to stream a lot of fighting games coming up. So many good games, KOF, new characters in Guilty Gear, new patch for Street Fighter V, DNF Duel is coming out soon. There's so much great fighting game content, so keep an eye on twitch.tv/jchenzor for me streaming. And until next time, I will see you later. Please stay safe out there, get vaccinated, social distance, continue to be as safe as possible so that we can all start gathering for locals again. Until then, peace out. Thank you for watching and take care.